I am a successful person.
No, that's not true.
I have dreams.
Your dreams can't come true.
I am an achiever.
You don't have goals.
I can do it this time.
But you are not brave enough.
You're my biggest stress monster in life.
No, I'm just your only best friend.
Stress assume the fact that there are real monsters and ghosts, but the real ones, they live inside us. And that was the beginning of Richard's story.
Stress. Stress isn't always a bad thing. It can be a burst of extra energy and focus, like when you're playing a competitive sport. But when it's continuous, the kind most of us face day in and day out, it actually begins to change your brain. It's chronic stress. So doctors, we have an orphan person called Richard. He's suffering from bullying and crude words because of his handicap, and it's not being that surprising that he's facing a big problem, which is chronic stress, that really have to be managed and solved in order to deal with everyday life events.
I think that bullying will affect Richard's psyche, and that will make him feel stressed. So we have to know what that will affect on him and different medical fields, and how we can help him to manage his stress.
I'm the one who listens to what your soul suffers from and try all my best to motivate you to overcome your unwanted feelings. But unwanted feelings can drag you down to suicide, which is a terrible reflection of our inside pain that a society can see. I am a psychologist who studies normal and abnormal mental status, cognitive, social processes, and behaviors. Our studies have shown that mood naturally fluctuates, and everyone experiences highs and lows in their lives. But in some cases, big changing in moods can become a serious threatened disease that can be diagnosed as SRS, stress response syndrome, which we as psychologists divided them in two main stages. First of all, the adjustment disorder, which is a short-term condition, occurs when a person has a great difficulty coping with or adjusting to a particular source of stress. As far as our case study, when people around Richard started treating him badly. But stress is like an ivy that can be easily cut. But the problem is that it regrows fast if there was no psychological treatment. So it goes to the second stage, which is the major depression. A feeling of hopelessness, restlessness, not motivated, requiring thoughts of death and suicide. All these emotions comes from the limbic system, which is constructed from the thalamus, hypothalamus, and the amygdala. When it is overactive, it starts responding to negative events excessively. Stress is basically someone trying to prepare everything solo, but the problem is that it can kill us in our weak times.
So, because of his continuous stress, his chronic stress, the brain size is actually being affected, its structure and how it functions, right down to the level of the genes. These changes are affecting the endocrine glands of the brain, which control the behavior, and then increasing of the hormone called cortisol. The extremely high level of the cortisol is dangerous and affecting the fear center in the brain, and learning and memorizing. Then immediately he will feel that something is shrinking in his head. It is the brain. That's why he is suffering from depression and physical mental problems.
Now I will tell you what will happen to Richard's heart. The heart and blood vessels comprise the two elements of the cardiovascular system that work together in providing nourishment and oxygen to the organs of the body. The activity of these two elements is also coordinated in the body's response to stress. Stress that is short-term causes an increase in heart rate and strong contractions of the heart muscle, with the stress hormones, adrenaline, noradrenaline, and cortisol acting as messengers for these effects. Chronic stress or a constant stress experience over a prolonged period of time can contribute to long-term problems for the heart and blood vessel. The consistent and ongoing increase in heart rate and the elevated levels of stress hormones can take a toll on the body.
I am a respiratory doctor. The respiratory system supplies oxygen to cells and removes carbon dioxide waste from the body. Air comes in through the nose and goes through the larynx throat, down through the bronchi, the bronchioles, then transfer oxygen to red blood cells for circulation. Stress and strong emotions that Richard feel can present with respiratory symptoms such as shortness of breath and rapid breathing as the airway between the nose and the lungs constricts. Stress can actually trigger asthma attack In addition, the rapid breathing or hyperventilation caused by stress can bring a panic attack to someone prone to panic attacks.
This is Richard. Increase in heart rate,
The major depression.
Physical mental problems.
now Richard reached to his stress threshold.
Now, all of his problems are actually making a high probability for him to suffer from Alzheimer's diseases in the future if they haven't been solved logically by first of all separating him from this toxic environment, putting him in a society that he will volunteer, offer and receive help, and reach out to others. And surely all of these activities will be beneficial for his health. And finally, giving drugs will be the last decision our clinic will make.
Using self-help techniques for dealing with stress. It may seem like there is nothing you can do about stress. These recent discoveries about the effects of stress on health shouldn't leave you worried. Working with a psychologist to develop relaxation, breathing, and other cognitive behavioral strategies can help first by express your feelings instead of bottling them up. If you don't voice your feeling, resentment will build and the stress will increase. Second, reframe problem. Try to view a stressful situation from a more positive perspective.
And remember that even a happy life can't be without a measure of darkness. And the word happy would lose its meaning if it was not balanced with sadness. So take things as they come along, with patience and equanimity.
The mind is powerful. How many doors in your life do you think are locked but aren't? How many times in your life have you been stuck in the mental prison overthinking? Something had a simple solution. There is an ancient African proverb that says, when there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Your mind is the most powerful force you will ever face. It will tell you lies. It will tell you you can't do that. You are not meant for that. You don't have the energy. You must thank it for its opinion and carry on, because the only locked door is in your own mind. The doors in reality are open, and all you have to do is walk.